Greetings. Today's a tough one. The first thing I saw when I woke up this morning, the Hammerin Hank had passed away. For baseball fans who are baby boomers, this has been a difficult year. Starting in early 2020, it seems like once a week, even twice a week, we're hearing about one of our heroes from the 1950s, the 1960s, and the 1970s making the transition and passing on. Henry Aaron hit 755 home runs, passed Babe Ruth in 1974. His story is incredible. He started in the Negro Leagues. He was one of the few living ball players that played in both the Negro Leagues and the Major Leagues. The Negro Leagues, we all know, were around just because African Americans were not allowed to play in the Major Leagues. He came up to the Milwaukee Braves in the early 1950s, made an impact, led them to 2 World Series. They won one of them in 1957, and just came to work every day and was a great home run hitter. Growing up in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco Bay Area, I, along with my friends, followed Hank Aaron, respected Hank Aaron. Of course, our guy was Willie Mays. And we wanted him to break Babe Ruth's record, but when it became obvious it was not going to happen, his career ended with 660 home runs, well short of the Babe's 714. We were all pulling for Hank Aaron. I saved everything. Growing up, I was a sports nerd. I saved everything. This is the Sports Illustrated from May of 1970, when Henry Aaron became the 9th ball player in about 100 years to achieve 3,000 hits. This is the Sports Illustrated from April 15th, 1974, right after Hammerin Hank broke Babe Ruth's record. And then there are the books. And it's the books. This one is Hank Aaron, My Life in Pictures. And there's another one I don't have anymore. Well, I said I saved everything. There were some things I gave away. I gave the book, I Had a Hammer, away. But that described what he went through, particularly in 1973, 1974, when he was breaking the records. I had no idea that he was getting death threats. There were people who, in their youth, saw Babe Ruth set the home run record. There were people who were racist that were not enthusiastic about an African American breaking this hallowed record. And there were many people that felt that Hank Aaron's life was in danger. And that's why I said his career went full circle in an ironic way. When he began in the early 50s, there were many times when he could not stay in the same hotel as his teammates because of segregation. In the 1970s, the segregation was not allowed, and all the major league teams stayed together, except for Hank Aaron, because the threats were so real, they decided it was best for him to stay in another hotel so nobody would know where he was. It was an absolute tragedy. I have one more memento. Hank Aaron's partner with the Milwaukee Braves was Eddie Matthews. And Eddie Matthews has 512 home runs of his own. Between the two of them, we've got 755, 512. We've got 1,267 home runs between a between a right fielder and a third baseman. I have this baseball card of Hank Aaron and Eddie Matthews. And as you can see, Eddie Matthews signed it. How does a guy from Alameda get a Aaron and Matthews card and get one of them to sign it? Well, in the early 80s, I've got a cousin that married Eddie Matthews. And my aunt Viola, knowing that I'm the baseball nerd in the family, invited me over to lunch. And I got to meet Eddie, and I got to hear stories about the Milwaukee Braves, Henry Aaron, and Major League Baseball in my favorite time, the 1960s. So if you look at my Facebook profile, I took my picture down. I've got a picture of Hammerin Hank. My friend Delbert saw it, and he wrote hashtag God's Team. And yes, there's God's Team up there right now. Henry Aaron and Eddie Matthews are probably having a home run hitting contest, and there's a whole bunch of other guys who were so much part of why I'm a baseball fan that are up there. And Hammerin Hank is having a reunion right now. So Hank, we love you. Godspeed on God's team. And we miss you. So who's your hero? If you're a baseball fan, what are you thinking today? Please like and share, comment and subscribe. I'd like this conversation to go far and wide. And we'll find that shining needle of common ground in that haystack of fear.